first and foremost, I told you this guy is not supposed to be like this. That it's not supposed to be open, so I'll simply delete it. Let me copy the name so that I'll. Okay, so I can name it TST pass. So we'll use a password field instead of just ordinary test field. Use a password field for it. Okay. So the password field, I'll give it that same name so that I don't have to change my code. And for the test property, leave it blank so that whenever we're trying to log in, our password will be encrypted. Okay, so that is one. Then another thing again on this creates part, this account type could either be savings or uh, current. So instead of just using a test feed like this, to be preferable, I'll just delete that. Preferable to use a combo box. Okay, preferable to use a combo box where you have to select the items. Okay, yes, a combo box. Okay, so on the combo box now, there's what we call a model. Now, this model is where all the items are. So we have items 1 to 4. Okay, but now we're not using these items. We either use, let's say, savings, current, or any other pattern we want to save there. Okay, let's say savings account, current account. Is there any other type of account apart from savings and current? Fixed deposit, yeah. Fixed deposit. Okay, let me remove this account. Okay, so any other one? So let's just go with that. Okay, that's domiciliary account. Okay, let me just do a little formatting on the test. Okay, so now this is it. So when we'll open our form again now, go to continue. We said admin. Then click on login. Then we'll say create account. Our form will come up and we'll have option of selecting if it's fixed deposits, if it's current, if it's savings. Okay. So now we've created everything we need. Okay, so how we will now have to make it functional. So now this is the main essence of this class, making use of classes when necessary, how to build and use classes. Okay, so now we have our package here, classes. Okay, so inside the classes, that is where we build all the classes we'll be working with. So now I'm going to uh, first of all create a new Java class. Okay, so this new Java class now, I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it accounts. Okay, so we now have a class account. Now this one is different from the GUI aspect. Now we want to actually write core Java code here now. So these core Java codes that we're going to write here now, we're going to use them with our GUI. Okay, so here now we've created a class called accounts. Okay, now on this class called account, we're going to define some attributes for it. Okay. Now the attributes that we're going to define are the attributes of the class account. That is, uh, what are the what's it called? The things that we can attribute to a person's account. Okay. So what are the things? Okay, so we're going to make all of them private to the account so that we will not have easy access. Let's just say we will not have free access to them. We will have to access them in a systematic way. Okay, just to make them more secure. Okay, so we're going to make them private. So we'll have the account name, just like today. We'll have the account name. Okay, let's just call it ACC underscore name. Okay, then sorry, private string, because the name will be string, right? So ACC name, then the account type, which should also be string. Let's say ACC type. Okay, address is not really part of the account. It's supposed to be the user that owns the account. That means there is a way we're supposed to link. You know what I from illustration there I said we're just making a caricature of how the thing is working. Normally, if we are to create the full bank app simulation, we need database to store. That means this account now we are supposed to relate it to a particular user. Okay, that means the user that owns the account that we're creating. Okay, but for now, we just want to do just something simple, which is so we have the account name, we have the account type, then we can have the account balance. So I was supposed to say ACC. Okay, account balance is supposed to be double, not integer. Okay, so account number will be a string too, not a number, please. Okay, because I know my question might come to us like account number is supposed to be an integer. Why is it not integer? Now, why it's not integer is because sometimes the account number can start from 00. Like I think which bank, not Access Bank. Uh, there's a particular bank that account starts with 00 something. Okay, and according to the laws of real numbers in mathematics, a number does not start from zero because zero is insignificant. You understand? So if you make it integer and you now assign 00, it's going to truncate those zeros at the front of it, out of it. You understand? And because you'll be seeing it as a number. So that is why we have to put it as a string so that 00 will be the zero now will be like a character too. Okay, so that is for that. Now, uh, we'll also have a private double, then our account balance will now be here. Okay, yes, account balance. Okay, so this is all the properties of the class account. Okay, so anyone will remember will still be adding to them. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is that whenever we are creating the account, whenever we want to create a new account, we should specify all these properties for it. Okay, to specify all the properties for it. So we'll simply do this. We'll simply use a constructor to do that. Okay. So and when we're talking about a constructor, we can simply just call the constructor. Sorry, I'm supposed to refactor this. I spelled that wrong. Okay. It's supposed to be 1 O. Okay. Yeah. So the constructor is supposed to have the same name with a class name. Okay, so yeah, invalid method declaration return type is required. Uh, Accounts. Yeah. Okay, so that's just it. So same name with the class name. So this is the constructor now. Now in this constructor, we will need the initial process that's of instantiating an object to bring in these four things here. Okay, so what we'll simply do is to say, okay, we declare them as variable in it. Let's say the name. Okay, we'll declare, sorry, we'll declare type. Okay, these are just variables. Now these variables will serve as the parameters. That's the argument rather. Yeah. Okay. The numbers. Okay. Then we have the double, the balance. Okay. Let's just say amount. Okay. So yes, when we start an object of account now, we have to provide all these ones during the process of instantiation. Yeah, I have to provide the parameters that will match up these arguments. Yeah, so those parameters now will not be set as these guys from this constructor here. So a constructor can simply just say this dot account name, that is this account name, is equal to the name that is sent into via the constructor. Okay, so same thing applies to the type, this dot account type is equal to the type that was sent in via the constructor. Then this dot account number, okay, is equal to the number that was sent in via the constructor. And lastly, this dot the balance, that's the account balance, will be equal to the the amount that was sent in via the constructor. Okay. Okay. These ones are just like your normal program statement. Now this ACC, this dot ACC now is simply making reference to this guy. This dot account is making reference to this guy. Now since these guys are private, you cannot access them outside this class. Okay, but with this constructor, once you send the data into the constructor, since the constructor is a member of this particular uh, account class, it have access to all these private members. So it will receive all these values and set them into this. That's assign the values into these values. Okay. So that is just it. So with this, we've simply created an account. Okay. So now that we've created an account, now with the station, we automatically create an account. Okay. So with this now, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'll simply say, let's just create every operation that we're going to do in this account class. Okay, so I'll simply say, let's deposit. Okay, if we're depositing, how do we do that? Okay, so we'll create a method that will deposit on the account for us. Okay, so we'll simply create a method by saying public. Okay, will the method return a message after depositing, or will it not return a message? That will now depend on us. So if it will return something, and we have to tell the method which data type will that or which data type will the method return after performing the operation. Okay, so let's just assume we want to return something like account created successfully. Okay, that means we will simply, or let's just say we want to return true or false or whatsoever. It that depends on us though. Okay, but let's just make it simple. Let's just return a string. Account created successfully, or if it failed, if there is every possibility that it might fail, then we can return another certain message. Okay, but let's just assume we want to return a string message, a message in form of a string. Okay, so what we're going to do now is say we'll declare the method as a string method, public void. Then we'll now say let's call it deposits, or let's call it make deposits. Okay, uh make deposits. Okay, so make deposits. Uh, as we're making deposits, we'll simply put in the amount of money that we want to deposit. Okay, so that means we need a double, because the amount of money that we want to deposit, the amount will come in form of double. So let's say double amount. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is, since we are depositing, we'll simply uh, we'll simply add to the balance, right? That is depositing. Now, where you are depositing any money, it will add to your balance. Okay. So what we're simply going to do is we'll simply say this dot account balance, okay, is equal to. You can just simply do plus equal to. Of course, we're supposed to know what plus equal to is, right? Everybody understand plus equal to. Okay. So plus equal to amount. That is, this dot account balance is equal to this dot account balance plus amount. You understand? That means add the amount to what was in account balance. So after that, we will now return uh, uh, let's return a string. Okay. Let's say accounts or deposits successful, right? Deposit successful. Okay. So this is simply a simple deposit method. So same way we can create for withdraw as well. Okay. So withdraw also be something similar to this. Okay. So let's just do this. So let's just say withdraw. Okay. Okay. So on the withdraw, what we'll simply do is would we'll have to add the amount we want to withdraw to. Okay, what have to add the amount we want to withdraw to. Okay, so now in the case of withdrawal, the case will be a little bit different, because we have to check if you actually have that amount of money, enough money to withdraw first. You understand? So we're going to do an if statement here. So the if statement will now ask if this, okay, dot account balance, okay, is greater than, okay, is greater than the amount that we want to withdraw. Okay, you know, when I say greater than, that means even if you have the exact amount, you cannot withdraw it. Yes. If you have that exact amount, you cannot withdraw. If you want to withdraw the exact amount, you have to do greater than or equal to amount. You understand? So whether it's greater than or equal to, that means you can withdraw the amount. But if not, you cannot withdraw that exact amount. Okay. So now, if it's greater than or equal to the amount, that means we can withdraw. So it will not be this dot uh, account balance. Okay, this time around it will be subtracting, that is minus equal to, okay, amount. Okay, so when you do this, let me make this thing. No, let me not complicate things. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, so let's return a message. Let's say withdraw successful. Okay, withdraw successful. Okay, so now we'll now have an S here. That means we have to return something else. Return, okay, let's say insufficient fund. Okay, sufficient funds. Okay, so that's just it. So here we'll have our make deposits inside our account, our withdraw inside our account. At the same time, we'll also have check balance. Okay, so we'll simply say uh, public, okay, public check balance. Our balance is in double. Okay, so since our balance is double, we are going to return the balance. So it's supposed to be public double, right? That's the return type. Okay, check balance. Now, check balance, we don't need to bring in anything. We just have to get the balance of the current account. Okay, okay. So we'll simply do this. Then we'll, uh, here we just return the amount. That's the account balance. Okay, this dot account balance. That's all. So anytime we say check balance, it will bring us the current account balance. Okay. Mhm. So same thing applies to check account type. Let's say we want to know the account type. Okay. So it's just simply the account type here is a string. Okay. So that means our return type here will also be a string. Okay. Let's say check account ACC type. Okay, so check ACC type here will simply return, okay, this dot account type. Okay, so just like that. It's as simple. So this is just a simple, uh, simple class for your accounts. Okay, so this class is what we'll now be working with in our GUI. Okay, okay. Hmm? Mm. All of them are methods. Even the constructor is a method. Yes. Mhm. Now, the thing is this for the constructor, you cannot call the constructor the way you are calling, you will be using all these ones because the constructor is different. You understand? The difference for the constructor now is this the constructor is only called when this class is instantiated. You understand? That's when you are creating the object of the class. Okay. Now, after creating the object, you now use that object to access all these other ones. You understand? Ehen. So that is just it. Yes, yes, the constructor will receive any data that will come into the class at the point of instantiation. Okay, so that is just it. So when we come here now, what I'll simply do here on this create account form, what I'll simply do is we will now accept all this data. Okay, so I'll have to name my forms. Okay, let me call this tst acc name. Okay, then this one will be uh, let's call it select that's sel uh, acc acc type. Okay, Justice, hope you're with us because I'm not seeing you. Justice. Okay. So here we have TST ACC number. Okay. Then we'll now have TST amount. That's the initial deposit. Okay. TST amount. Okay. So now I'll name this one BTN save ACC. Okay. Save ACC. Okay. So with this, we're good to go. So on click of this guy, on mouse click of this button, okay, it should receive all the values. Okay, so we will now declare variables, okay, for the values, just like our normal program where we receive variables, right? So we simply say uh, string, okay, string. We have the ACC name, okay. We have the ACC type, okay. We have the ACC number, and I think that's all. The next one is the double, right? Mm. So we have double uh, amount, okay. Okay, so let's say double amount. Okay, so I've declared the variables now. Now the next thing I'll do is to assign the values to each of the variable. So I'll simply say account name, okay, is equal to, I call that TST account name, okay, dot get test, okay, get test, okay. Then account type will be equal to TST account. Uh, okay, sorry, SEL. Okay, XAL account type. Yeah. Dot get test. Sorry, this one is kind of different. We'll have to get the current element. Okay, we have to get the current element. I'm coming. Let me check something. Ask. Mhm. Select. You know, this thing I'm just kind of, it's just something that I'm trying to append so that on from your code you can easily know which one is a test feed or whatever. This one is not a test feed, it's a select input. Yeah, that combo box, yeah. So it's just a way of naming them so that looking at your variables you will easily understand which one is which. You understand? So for the this thing, like what I'm trying to get here now, from the select account tab, what you simply do is instead of, we're not getting test this time around because it's not a test bus. Okay, so it's designed such a way that you have some items on it. You understand? Draw down items. So what we're going to do here is just to say dot select, sorry, get selected item, get selected item. Okay, now we say get selected item is selected item by default. The way it is defined, you can see it's saying objects. Okay, that is how it is defined within the class. Okay, its own class. Understand? So we have to convert it to string. So we have the to string method on it too, like this. So you can just say to string like this, and it will converted the item to string and assign it since this guy is a string. Okay, so that's just it. So after which we will now get our account number, which is a test. So account number, okay, is equal to, I think it's TST ACC number, okay, dot get test, okay, get test, okay. So now I think the last one is the double, which is the amount, okay. Amount is equal to, now for this double, I think we're going to have come in, let me try something here. I've also forgotten this. Dot pass double. Okay. So double dot pass double, just the way we do integer dot pass int. Okay. Double dot pass double. Then we pass in the string. Yes, which is TST to, we are converting it to double. Yeah. TST account. Okay, TST amount. Yeah. Okay. So TST amount. Incompatible. JTest. cannot be converted to string. Okay, dot get test. Okay, so we're getting the test, then convert it to double into the amount. Okay, so with this now that we've gotten the entire things now, for us to create the account now, what we just simply need to do is just, now we've gotten all the data from our UI here. So we already have the account data on our class. Okay, so what we just need to do here, what we just need to do here in our create is just to instantiate an object of that particular uh, account. Okay, so we'll simply say uh, new new sorry account. Okay, account is equal to, there's something I would like to do here now. If I do this thing here, there's what we call in our variables. I didn't really talk about it when we were treating variables. We have scope of variables, we have local variable, we have global variables. If I do this thing I'm about to do here now, it will only be available inside this method. Okay, it will only be available inside this method. So for me to make it available outside the method, I'm supposed to define that thing somewhere outside the method. Okay, but within this class, within this create class. Okay, so what I will simply do here, I'll come up here and I'll define that particular account. Okay, so normally we're supposed to import the accounts. So that's the first thing we do. So import accounts. Okay, sorry, the account is inside classes. Okay, so we'll call classes. Okay, that is, these are package classes. Okay, dot accounts. Okay, so we'll call the classes dot account. It has been imported. Okay, now what we're going to do here now.
You don't have this one.
This
Package.
The package is classes.
That's what important here.
Yes. Then inside the classes package, you have the account.java. So that's where we're importing this from now. We're importing this account class from the classes package. Okay. So here now, since we've imported it here, we'll now create it outside any method within this create class. Okay. It will be outside. That means what I'm doing now is immediately I start this public class create, okay, which is the class for this form. You understand? And even before the constructor, you have to define the method here. Sorry, the object here. Now, when you define the object here, the object will be gotten from anywhere within your
So the
class,
your
create class.
Declaring the object now is to get values, get the attributes, get the values from the other side.
Normally, when we create the class, when we instantiate an object of the class, the object automatically gets hold of every public member of that class. Okay. Now, the essence of declaring it here now is because there might be other methods that I want to call the class in. That I want to call the class in. If I do it inside here, other method will not know what it is. You understand? Other method will not know what it is. Because it's inside here. That's what I'm saying now. It will be local to this. It cannot come out of this method, this save mouse click method. So the better way to do it is to create it outside, so that we will have other methods that we want to use it, they can access it. Okay, but even in this case that we are working on now, I don't think it is even wise to do it here. Yes, it will be confusing. Now, if we do it here inside this create class, remember how our design look like? We'll have to create another dialog box for make deposit. We'll have to create another dialog box for withdrawal. Any variable that was created inside this class cannot be accessed inside another dialog box. So the thing is even becoming more complicated. Okay, so that will now give us rise to even do it here inside this dashboard. So that since it's inside the dashboard and you can access everybody from the dashboard, that means it's from the dashboard that you send the particular account to whichever form that is using it. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, on recorded this thing now. Okay, so now look at it so that you understand it later. I said when I declared outside this method, it is not seen. As you can see, cannot find the symbol because it is within the scope of this method. This from this private void save btn save mouse click. You understand? Till it ends. That means everything here remain inside here. Okay, that is why it cannot see it inside here now. Okay, but immediately it's inside, it will not give you any problem. But immediately it comes outside, it gives you problem. Okay, but what I'm trying to say now is this: assuming, let's say, we declare the variable here outside here now. Let's say variable ABC to test. Okay, so inside this place, if I say ABC is equal to hello, for instance, I don't have a problem because it's outside. You understand? So any method that is inside this is inside this create class. Look at where the create class ends. So the create class covers everything you're seeing here now. Okay? So as long as it's inside the create class, but outside every other method, any method you want to use, it will understand what it is. Even if I carry it outside, it will not have a problem. You understand? So with that one that I declared here, everybody will understand what it is. Okay? So even though I'm doing another button, maybe I have another button and I want to make reference to that, I can still make reference to it.
You create that inside the class?
Yes, it's inside the class, but outside every other method. It's not inside any method.
So this one now is able to
assign hello to ABC.
Yes, it's making reference to this guy now.
inside this class.
You understand? Yeah? You understand the aspect of it now?
Yes.
So
Okay.
if you put this one outside that class now, to show
It will be an error because it's no longer a member of the class.
no, it's not going to be recognized. Okay, no foundation.
You understand? So that is just it. So that is one. That is what we call the scope of variable declaration. Now we have local variable, global variable. That's when we declare variable within this place. Now it's local. So only within that method. That's when you can access it.
In a situation where that class is protected.
Even if it's protected, as long as it's inside the class, anybody inside the class will access it. Even if it's private.
This guy will
Yes.
The guy outside.
It's not outside.
It's not
everybody
outside,
here now
it's
is inside the
class.
class.
Everybody,
Everybody here now, look at where the class ended.
Okay.
You understand? So everybody inside the class will have access to it. But the problem we are even facing now is even bigger than this thing. But do we understand this one? If we understand this one, we'll be able to understand the other.
Very we or you. I don't understand them. Allow us to start.
ABC declare.
You understand?
Then now, if you assign equal assign
So
hello
you
to
give this
ABC,
camera to server.
And if you just declare it
inside the class,
and
you don't assign inside the class. Even inside the method.
So the account we want to create now, let it be on the dashboard, okay, not on this create. Now the reason for that is because the dashboard, we are going to create other dialog boxes. So if we do it here, inside this place that we've been explaining now, it will just the way when we did it here, it's only accessible to only this place until we took it out. Okay, remember this whole thing is a class and is covered inside the class. So anything outside the class, it will not be accessible. Okay, so what we're going to do now, since the dashboard is where the whole thing is, all these things all this logic we are thinking of, assuming we're using database, will not be thinking of all these things because it's just a straightforward thing. It's safe to a database. Anytime we need to query, just query. You understand? But it's still good as we are doing like so that we understand the principles of object-oriented very well and the use of classes. You understand? Now, the what we are battling with now is scope. Where should we do it? It's not even about how to do it now. Where should we do it? That's what we are battling with now.
And why should we do it then?
There, exactly.
So in this case of if you put it here,
yes.
You said, oh, what will happen? You know,
if we put it here now,
it's not there.
This one is a class on its own.
Yeah.
Remember, this guy does not extend this guy, so he have nothing in common with it. You understand? So this guy, make deposit will be another dialog box.
Yes.
That is a class on its own.
On its own, okay.
Has nothing to do with the create.
Yes. Nothing to do with create. Yes.
You understand? Exactly. Exactly. Withdraw have nothing to do with create. Neither does it have anything to do with deposit. You understand? But you see this dashboard now. The dashboard is like their parent. That is where everything goes to the individual form. So it will be better if we do the object on the dashboard, then lend it to any of the form to make change to it and bring it back.
So what do you think? What should we do?
So let's create it on the dashboard. Okay. So we'll come to the dashboard code. Okay. We're on the dashboard code. Okay. So here inside the dashboard. Okay. I'll simply create the object of account. So this thing I was trying to do here before now is not supposed to come in here. Okay. It's supposed to come inside the dashboard. No, the imports of the classes. Okay. So we're going to create a new class here. We'll simply say accounts. Okay. Accounts. Let's say what should we call it now? Let's just call it bank accounts. Okay. Accounts. I used 1C. Okay. So now I didn't do new here now. Okay. I didn't do new here. Now the reason why I didn't do new here is because if I do new here, I would provide these guys. No. If I say new here now, normally instantiating this guy, I'll simply say new equals, right? Equals new account. Okay. Okay. So inside it now put the account name, the account type, the number. You understand? This is what I'm supposed to do here. But now we don't have it on the dashboard. We have it on the create. All those details. Okay. All those details. So what we're going to do is that we are not going to say new this here. Okay. Let's just make it available first. Okay. So we created an object. I will make it available here first. So after making it available, now that place where we will be calling the create account. okay, we can simply pass this into the create account to go and edit it, either through the constructor or we create a method inside this that will accept the account. Okay, so there are two ways we can uh, do this. We can either send it via the constructor. Okay, well, if we want to send it via the constructor, then we have to pass a third parameter here. Okay, and if we pass a third parameter here, that means in this our main place here, because we also call the constructor, this is where the constructor was invoked. Okay, we're going to do pass another thing here, which might not really be uh, nice. Not that it's not nice. What I mean is it will be more complex because we are even trying to understand what's going on here. So what I will simply do here now is this. Okay, I'll simply create. Okay, this is another pattern set that I'm thinking of here now is this. We can make a public method on the dashboard. Okay, a public method to create the account on the dashboard. So on the dashboard here, I can simply say create. Remember, these are classes. Everything you're dealing with here is a class. All the forms you created are classes. Hope you will know that already now. You understand? So the same thing, just the way we did this class, our own class here now. Yeah, you can update, you can add methods or whatever to this class. You understand? So what we are going to do now, since we'll be controlling everything from the dashboard, let the dashboard have those methods. Okay. Now the methods will now be called from other dialog boxes from the dashboard. Okay. So now that means on the dashboard, I can simply create a method. Okay. I can simply create a method. Let's say public. We'll have to make it public so that we can access it from the other side. Okay. So public. Okay. Let's say string. So if we create the account, we are going to get a string. Okay. So we'll simply say public string. Let's say save account. Okay. Save account. Now, on this save account, we're going to pass in. Let me just copy this because it's similar to this. Okay. So we're going to pass in this whole thing here. Okay. So passing this whole thing, what we're going to do here now is, okay, so sorry, this one will not return anything. So it is void. Remember, we want to call this constructor. That's what we want to call. So it should be void. Yes, from the dashboard. So what we do now, from this create account, we pass this data back into the dashboard. The dashboard will do the creating for us. The void, because we don't need it to return anything. Okay? We don't need it to return anything. Okay? So what we now simply do is, since we have the back account here, which is the object of accounts. Okay? So inside this place now, we'll simply say, we also need to make it static too, so that we'll not have to instantiate the dashboard. We'll not have to do new dashboard again. You understand? So if we make it static, we can just say dashboard.save account. You get? So here, we're going to simply say back accounts equals new accounts. Okay? Sorry, I have one C, right? Accounts. Let me copy this so that I'll be sure I'm on the right track. Accounts, right? So now inside the accounts, I'll pass in the name. Okay, I'll pass in the type, I'll pass in the account number, and I'll pass in the amount as well. Okay,
So I was thinking I need to copy the one method and just paste it in this box.
come let me do something here. Account string. It's not public in accounts. We'll have a problem here. Because this is supposed to be static for us to be able to do it very well. So the problem we have here now is it seems our constructor will not work. Let me just create a new method here. Let's call it public. Okay. Create account. Let's see. Public void. Okay. Let's see. If it's that is here, we'll now say bank dot create account. What is it giving us? A non-static member cannot be accessed from a static. Okay. Let's say this one is becoming more complex. A non-static, that means we have to make all the static again. Then if we remove this static, this will go out. Okay. But if we are to remove this static from here, that means wherever we'll be using it, which is from this our create account part, is going to be new. That means we'll have to create a new dashboard. Okay, so we simply say new dashboard. That's what I was avoiding, but I wanted to make it static. Okay, new dashboard dot create what do we call it? Save. Is it save?
Sure.
Save accounts. Okay, so save accounts will now pass in all these values into it. So what this guy will do now is to simply send all these things we entered back into the dashboard and call this save accounts method on the dashboard. Now when you call the save account method on the dashboard, the save account method now will now save it inside this back account. Okay, so automatically this back account now that we created here now will not be will not have the values. Okay, so let's do something to test this whole thing so that we'll conclude here, so you can digest everything. Okay, so let's just assume we'll have a button here, or let me just copy this button. Okay, so what I want to do with this button is let's just say we want to check accounts. Okay, so let's just say check account balance. Okay, so that we just test this. Okay, hey Alpha, let's say between check balance. Okay, so now on this between check balance, when we click on it, let it show our balance. Okay, so on event mouse clicked. Okay, so on event mouse click, what will happen is let it show our account balance. So we'll simply use the option pane to display it. Okay, let's use the option pane. Sorry, option pane. Let's show message dialog box. Okay, this is the parent, and the message we want to show is our, what's the name of that this thing again? Bank account. That's the name of the object. Okay, so what we're going to do here is simply bank account dot check balance. Okay, so bank account dot check balance will return the balance for us. Okay, so with this, I pray we don't have an error because check balance is going to give us double, but these things require a string. But let's just try. Another thing again, sorry. Before that, let's instantiate our account balance, okay, to be 00, so that I don't need to 0.00, okay, so I don't need to, yeah, we need to create the account. Okay. So let's say we log in. Okay. I think we'll have an error. See on it? Okay. What's happened? It's supposed to give us an error. Okay, let's just create it. Let's create it first. Okay, so let's create an account. So let's say account name Charles. Charles puts in. So the account number, let's say 00. Okay, service account. Let's say we deposit initial amount of, let's say 200, 2000. Okay, so let's say we save account. We're supposed to return something back. Okay, so let's check balance. I don't know why the check balance is not coming. Which shows, I thought I was expecting null pointer exception, save account, and dashboard. Save account. Okay. How do we pull this off now? Save accounts. Let me check it. Create accounts. Another issue. Create accounts, components, null pointer exception. Null pointer exception. Let's just say this instantiation we didn't do here. It's kind of a problem here. Okay, so let me just make this whole thing simple in a way. Creating these accounts. How do we, because this thing is requiring me to do new accounts here. But here now we don't have the appropriate. outside the package. Okay. Oh, I didn't even look at this error. It's not public in accounts. Public. Sorry, I'm the one making the mistake ever since. You know, we just said accounts. It seems it's private or protected by default. So that's why we're having this issue in the first place. So with this, even with this, we don't need, where's the other one we created? We don't need this. We don't need the new this. Okay, we still need it because it's not a static method. It's not a static method. Instead, static method cannot be called from non-static context, right? Non-static cannot be called reference from static. Okay. So yes, we create this. Now when it creates new accounts, this that will have the account details. So now that place we did check balance is public, okay? So let's test this again for the last time, I hope. Yep. Login, create account. Create account. Let's say account is charts. I don't know why special is always a problem for me. Maybe because of the construct of the name. Okay, and I forgot this thing again. We're supposed to kind of bring out a message to tell us that okay, time is stored, then check balance. We still have problems again. No pointer. Why? Hmm. Let me log this. Hmm. Okay. So. Okay, the first one was running with errors. So let's see the second one. still not there. Let me do something here. Can only be done from this perspective. Now the problem, what's happening here now? I think let me try something here. Account. Okay. Accounts. And let's say tests. This. The next thing it should be after name type, right? Save as. Okay. And the next thing is the number, right? Next thing is the number. And let's say the amount is 350. I think with this, it's not going to give us problem. But the issue here now is this is not actually what we want to do. But let's try first and see. So, okay, so it's not giving us problem here. Okay, actually give us the account balance. Okay. So the problem we're having now is still the issue of the context, where and how. Because now, when I created this here, it's understood that, okay, there's an account balance here. Now, here again, okay, let's see if this can be updated. Let's see, let me close this guy. If it will update the values we put, or it will still give us this value. So let's just take note of this. Let me change this back to GUI champagne. Show message dialog. This is the parent. This is what I want to print. Okay. So now, okay. Lest I forget. Let's print in this place that we created a new dashboard. Let's just print a GUI champagne here. GUI champagne. Okay. Dot show message dialog. Okay. Now this one, the parent will be our create.java class will be the parent. Then the incompatible tab. Okay, let's just make it the root pane. Okay, so let's say account saved successfully. Okay, here. So when you say successfully, let's say create dot expose. Let's leave extra formality out of it for now. So let's see, run our program again and check something. Backup admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so check balance. We have our balance here. And if we create an account, let's say this is Charles. Again, spelled it wrong. So we have this. The initial deposit, let's say 1,000. Click on save. So account saved successfully. We'll close this and check our balance. It's still the previous account. Okay, so that is what I expected. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. Now the problem we are having here, now let me just explain the problem we're having now with this. Okay, the problem is with context, where to do what. That is the problem. And why? No, the question is not why here, because we know why we're doing these things. Okay. The problem is where to do what. That is, you understand, that is the issue. Okay. Now, currently now, we have the data, like we said, we have to move everything. As me, we're doing everything on this create class, so that will be easier for us. Okay, but now that we have to move this, like first and foremost, yeah, assuming we're using database for all these things, we will not be bothering about this context, because anywhere we are, we can simply save to a central database. You understand? To be easier for us like that, save to a central database. Then, from any place, we can also retrieve the data from the database as well. Okay. Now, but since we're not using database, we're trying to see the power of classes. We're trying to make use of classes to illustrate some of all these things. Okay. So now that is where we are having a problem now. Now the major problem we are having is there are some cases or there are some contexts where we want to access the class information, but because that particular place where that class information is being accessed, it is out of context. Yeah. Okay, it's out of context. That is the problem we're having now. For example, what I initially wanted to do was not to create this new here. Okay, so that whenever we instantiate, whenever we want to create this, okay, whenever we are submitting the data from this form, okay, we simply run the new there. Okay, now if I do this here, inside here, it will still work, but outside this place now, outside this method, like what we've been explaining, nobody else on this, even this dashboard, can access it. So we're trying to make this guy a global variable, okay, so that other parts of the form of the application can access it. Okay, but when we created this, it was created quite alright. It was kind of it was not completely instantiated, let me put it that way. Okay, before I did this now, it was not completely instantiated. So when we are trying to put the data from here, okay, it's just like it's entering a different object entirely. Okay, I don't know how further I can explain that. So when we're trying to print the balance here, what it's not doing is, since it's not seeing this guy as part of the whole thing, because normally if we're using a constructor, it's supposed to be from the part where it was created. That means that's why I changed here now. You know, when I change it to this one now, that means we are using the constructor quite alright. Okay, and everything work. But the problem is it's retaining these values that are here within this particular constructor. So that is why even as we added new values from here, from these other parts, okay, the value were not reflected. Okay, it sticks to those values that were instantiated with it. Okay, that is that. Yeah.
With this now, the deposit via this thing, the dialogue for the deposit, can it work with this one?
Which one?
Like on that dashboard, if you click deposit,
It will not work. Even this one I have not worked. Understand? Even this one have not worked the way it's supposed to work. You understand? Because the data that are with it, the data that are on it, are simply the data that were instantiated on it. Okay. But let me just try one more last thing first. Okay. Remember we created another method here called create account. Okay. So we created one more method here, create account. So on this create account method now, what we're going to do is we can access it even after instantiating this guy. We can access it here. Okay. So yeah, but if we're using this create account, that means we don't need this on the constructor. Okay, that means we don't even need the constructor here. If this one works now, that means we don't need the constructor here. So after instantiating the object here, after instantiating the object new account, then we can now use the create account to add data to it. I think that is our guide. That is the best way if it works. Okay, so let's test this. Okay, so the app was still running. Let me close it for now. Okay, admin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I will log in. Then we'll create account. Say Destiny. 1, 2, 3. Blah blah blah. Then we'll deposit 1,000 and we save. An account was saved successfully. So if we check balance, we still have this. Okay. Let's see if I don't have this. I don't have this. Okay. So here, it refers to this account. Create accounts. 100. Cancel successfully. So I have a very big problem. Check account balance.
Boy, that was issue.